right, hello everyone. This is Josh, also known as Yashu. You're just tuning into another episode of the TY Talks podcast. You can get this on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout, Patreon. On Patreon, you can get it through a variety of tiers, whether the basic tier or the highest tier. Definitely check that out. Check out the latest episode when you can too, like when it already drops, and hit the push notifications on the side too for any updates, and definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and like follow like on all platforms too. And we're just gonna get it started right here. So basically, we have like an OG in the Toronto music scene in the building and all that too. You might have seen him like through like a variety of waves from time to time and all that, whether it's through his single for like French Montana, to him like performing like all over the city, to him like even like doing songs like Friyie, Supreme Swiss, and much more too. He just recently released a new project called like Fourth Quarter, having TY.GOTEM as the executive producer and main producer for the project. And we gotta big up an OG in the building, Meeno Giinchy. How are you doing today, man?
Yo, respect, bro. I gotta give you a round of applause, man. That was amazing. That was one of the best intros I've ever had. I'm amazing. I'm blessed. I'm thankful, grateful. Happy to be here. I appreciate you, Josh. Appreciate you, Chris. And yeah. You guys are doing some amazing things with this platform, So
appreciate you, man. Like, I definitely like love and appreciate like the flowers either way too, and like it's only like up from there too for like the both of us, like either way too. And
all the way.
I mean, with you, I could never name someone in Toronto that had like a French Montana feature that wasn't like mainstream and all that too. I think you were like the only ones like in the grind, like when you were like on the Don Meeno days too, like that had the French Montana feature, and like that was like pretty sick and all that. And I actually heard more about you back in like 2021 when you did like the whole like Finding Meeno like volume like 1 project too.
Yes.
Like I like the creativity and like style for it too. And then I found out like more about you from Friyie and all that too when I was like listening to like a lot of Friyie, and then tapped into your sound too. And like, it's like far from there, and like, like the resume like fits well too, because you've been like doing a lot like in Toronto, so.
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I see that, you're very keen to detail, when you hit me with the list of the questions, I was very, very excited to answer these questions, because not a lot of people do their research before they sit down with people. And me, I worked so hard on my catalog to make sure that people go have some stuff to go check out, whether it be 2015 when I dropped the Giinchy Code, or like you said, French Montana feature, which was on Rookie Year. That was 2012. I was still in high school. I remember when I dropped that mixtape, it was hosted by DJ Holiday. And I was in a great circle of people who were there's tons of hustlers. Everybody was trying to figure this thing out, and they wanted to take it to another level. So lo and behold, a couple of guys I was working with, they had that contact with, they were doing it through just emails and, just finding people's Instagrams and just doing the online work to find these contacts. So they had the French Montana feature, and it was my big homie Z, who he kind of showed me how to go about this rap thing the organized way. I was rapping in high school at 16, 17, but when I got introduced to Zico, I kind of cleaned up my image. So that's how you get the Don Meeno. And we were trying to figure out a way to approach it, so a lane that I can take. And he's like, you young, you fly, you like to talk about hustling, and this would be a great feature for you, because I was going to use it, but I'm not even going to rap like that no more. I want to fall back and do business. So here you go, hold that feature down. And it was like a pass off, like an alley-oop. So it worked. I made sure that I just sat back and took notes of what was going on with the marketing, with the relationships. So that was a very, very eye-opening stage in my life, because I couldn't believe I'm 17 working with, some of the biggest at that time.
Sure, we'll definitely like dive deep like more on that too. But what I found out more about you, you're not actually born in Toronto. You were actually born in New York, and you kind of grew up like in Connecticut and Jamaica. So even like growing up there, like what were like the environments like for you growing up, as well as your childhood? And would you say it was like a very great experience growing up, or would it be like very different?
It was like every other childhood, I think we all had the same kind of upbringing. Some people rougher than others, but like when you grow up in these concrete jungles, it's kind of the same. Like you have those people who they take the rap route, or they take the basketball route. For me, very early, I seen that I wanted to rap, because it's like I was drawn to DMX. DMX was my favorite rapper, and growing up, that's all they were playing around my area. They were playing Jay-Z, DMX, 50 Cent, and a whole bunch of East Coast stuff, Mobb Deep, and you're hearing Tribe Called Quest, and you're hearing
Oh, true.
Nas. And so I grew up in Connecticut, where the lyrical aspect of it was held so highly. Even to this day, if you go to Connecticut, this is what they appreciate. The people who can be witty and put their words together. So growing up, the way I grew up, it was just, I was very music driven. My mom was always playing music in the house. My stepdad was always playing music in the house. He had an album with all these different artists, Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg, Biggie.
Do you want to move the
Tupac.
mic, like, just for the, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. My fault. So I kind of grew up just always dabbling into the album side of things. And we never really, like, I never had internet access when I was in the States like that. It's not like I was going on the computer, you know, at 7 years old, 8 years old to check out artists. So I started off just hearing stuff on the radio and seeing stuff on BET, and I would just go try it, do it myself and rewrite some of the lyrics I was hearing. And my stepbrother, he was like a rapper too, so he kind of put me on, and he had a whole bunch of rhyme books that he was writing in, and he kind of guided me into it a little bit. But yeah, it wasn't hard. Like I never grew up dirt poor. My mom, she struggled. Like she worked very hard. She was a warrior with this shit. So when we were in Connecticut, me and my little brother, it was me, my little brother, and my older stepbrother, Lerone. My little brother's name is Q. So we grew up all in the same house, and my stepdad, he worked very hard. You know, I think he was in the military when he had just got to the States, and then he transferred over into the work life. My mom was always working, nursing, and doing, like, she went to school too. That's what's crazy. She would work 2 shifts sometimes, and she also went to school. So I seen very young, like, if you wanted something, you just had to work hard, and that's kind of where we were at with it.
Yeah, true.
We went to Jamaica, like, so sorry to cut you off. We went to Jamaica in 2004, and that's when I noticed, like, oh, it's not that sweet, you know? Things can change easily. So I kind of always been able to adjust due to being, like, moving around different environments.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in New York and Connecticut did you, like, grow up at?
Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
I was born in Poughkeepsie, New York, but we moved to, like, New Haven when I was like 1 year old, 2 years old. So it's not like I grew up in New York at all.
Oh, true.
And then I went to Hamden. I grew up in Hamden until I was 10 years old.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I guess you hold, like, the U.S. citizenship and Canadian, like, citizenship in, like, in a way too?
Yeah, but the U.S. one, I kind of want to get rid of it because of what's happening with Trump and all that bull.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, when I tell people I'm from the States, they don't even want to talk to me.
Oh, true. I know what you mean too. And growing up, like, what were you like, man? Like, I don't know if you played sports or, like, did, like, video games or
a little bit of everything. So I draw. I was a great drawer. I would always draw and sketch, and that helps me with my music. And I was always writing, like, poetry and stuff, you know? I loved words. And yeah, I was outside. I used to love riding my bike and playing football, playing basketball, playing baseball, playing soccer, whatever it was. It was like I'll be involved, you know? I wasn't the greatest at sports, but I'll compete.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then you moved to Brampton, like, later on, like, after you left, like, Jamaica too. So, like, when you moved to Brampton, like, what was that experience like the transition, and, like, what were, like, the main differences, like, you know, even, like, growing up in the States versus, like, growing up, like, here and all that?
So going from Hamden, Connecticut, where we were, and I'll tell you real quick, you're in between poverty, like crazy poverty, and you're in the good side of life. Where when I came in here, I seen a lot of that happening too. So when I went to Jamaica now, our first year there, we have a crazy hurricane, and our roof goes, you know, Hurricane Ivan, and we have to refacilitate. I watched my family have to regather. We got a new crib, and something else happens down the line or whatever. We just keep, you know, when we were in Jamaica, we moved around like 3-4 times. So when I came here, I kind of was already like, whatever, bro. I'm not going to say I was hard, but I kind of understood the tough side of life, you know? So at 13, so I came here and I came to Mississauga, right? Thinking, oh, this is Canada. I never heard nothing about Canada. I didn't even know there was high-rise buildings. I never did any research until I guess I was told that we were coming to Canada. So I'm like, whoa, what is this place like? And I'm interested. So I have a full open mind on what it's going to be, you know? So when we come here, we land in Mississauga, and we're on Hugh, Ontario and the Queensway, right across from Trillium Hospital. I went to Camilla Senior Road Public School. I was rapping there, and people knew me for rapping. If I show you my yearbook, it said, hey, you're going to be a big rapper one day. 10 years, I'll see you. Hey, you're going to be great, you know? And I had a rhyme book even then. It was called, my name was Lyrics. So I wrote lyrics on a rhyme book, and I always had it. So I always had some stuff to remember. When I go to school, I would test it out. And I wasn't really good at communication. I wasn't really good at opening up to people, but I could rap. So I would just rap to people, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're such a good rapper, da-da-da. Long story short, after 2 weeks of being in this school, I win a rap competition that my friend signs me up for. I didn't even sign myself up. Josh, I shit you not. my boy comes to me, Muhammad, and he's like, yo, I signed you up for this rap competition. I said, bro, you didn't even ask me. He's like, you're always rapping on our walks back home. You might as well do it. I said, all right, cool. So I do it. I win. And they tell me to rap in front of the whole school. This is my first time having to rap in front of such a big audience. I did it. I was scared as shit. I did it. They gave me this chain, this dog tag chain. It said best rapper of 2007. And they clapped and everybody went crazy. So I found my confidence when I was 12, 13 through that. And when I moved to Brampton, I said, all right, I'm just gonna rap. So I was kind of standoffish at first because I'm like, here we go again. I started to love Mississauga, made friends, thought I was gonna go to either, what they call that school again with the Gators? I thought I was gonna go to, I can remember the name right now.
Like Thomas Aquinas or?
Not Thomas Aquinas, the other one with the Gates. I thought I was gonna go to Gates. You guys heard of Gates? So there's a school called Gates. And it was supposed to be a big athletic school. And then there's a school called Port Credit. You probably heard of Port Credit.
Yeah.
It was either one of the two because of where we lived. So I'm like, oh, my friends are all going to Gates and going to Port Credit and TL Kennedy. And here we are moving to Brampton. I said, all right, whatever now. So we moved to Brampton. And at this time in 2008, 2009, it was still development in a way. I'm not going to say Brampton was fully developed when we got there because where we moved to, Chincoosea, I was by Chincoosea and Williams Parkway. It was still dirt. There was still communities undone. And the houses we moved into, it was still dirt outside. There was no front lawns. So they were still building the communities up. So I watched a lot of that side of Brampton before James Potter Secondary was there, before the Gold Station over by Mount Pleasant, you know? Yeah. So actually the Mount Pleasant Gold Station was always there. It just wasn't communities over there like that. So I watched a lot of that. And I loved the fact that I'm always somewhere where I get to see the growth of it. Because even in Connecticut, there was no rappers. But I was always telling myself, I'm going to be one of the first rappers from Connecticut. So when I got to Jamaica, I'm like, all right, that plan is over. But I'll be one of the first rappers from Mandeville, Jamaica. Cool, because that's where I was. That plan was over once we moved to Canada. I'm like, all right, I'll be one of the first rappers from Mississauga, right? Oh, yeah, right. There's already rappers out here. We go to Brampton, there's already Deep Pride, Raz Fresco. So it was everywhere I went, I started to notice that, there's an underground scene. So I started to fall in love with underground scenes. And I was told about Drake in grade 8 in Mississauga. My boy Sean Allen, I would never forget. He's like, yo, you heard of Drake? I said, who? He said, Drake. I said, Drake and Josh? Like, are you serious right now? He's like, nah, there's this new rapper from Toronto named Drake. Go check him out. I listened to Comeback Season probably 2 times. And then I heard him on the radio. So when we're going to Brampton, when I moved to Brampton, I'm hearing my first day on the school bus, right? I was on the school bus. That's right, guys. I was on the school bus. I was staying out the way. I was 14. I was out the way. So I'm on the school bus and we're going to school. I hear, baby, you my everything. You all I ever wanted. We can get. Say, yo, this guy is smooth. They said, Drake. I said, this is the same guy Sean was talking about. But now he's going like this. His trajectory is through the roof. So I said, bro, I wish Connecticut had an artist like this. Like Toronto. I came here, lo and behold, thinking I was probably going to be one of the first. Nah, they got tons of rappers. So now I'm doing my background research. Shaw Claire, okay. Socrates, okay. The list goes on. Jellystone. Jellystone. Yeah. And I'm starting to take it in like, the same stuff that's happening in the States is happening here.
Yeah.
So now I'm really glued. And I'm watching Face Films and I'm watching Toronto, like, And I'm starting to Sam G and Heartless G. I was like, these guys are hard, B. And I started to fall in love with the whole underground rap scene here. So
sure. Yeah, because you were doing it at age 12 and all that too.
Yes,
like,
sir.
You got into that initial moment and all that. So I guess it was like, going to these like crowds and all that and like seeing the people like the Honey Cocaines, the Tory Lanez, the Tobys. Like you probably like might have seen like that whole like battle rap between Toby and Tory Lanez
online. So now I'm in Brampton and I'm like grade 9 and my boy's telling me to get Facebook. And I don't have, all right, when I came to Canada is when I found out about the whole MSN, social, like talking to people on stuff. I never had that stuff in Jamaica. So now I'm seeing, when I would go online, I would type in like Connecticut rappers because I want to find out who's popping in Connecticut right now. I'm 13, 14, who's popping? But what I'm seeing, my algorithm is sending me the Deep Prides and the Tory Lanez's and so I'm like, wow. And this is right around the corner. So it wasn't until I was in high school where I'm seeing this, where my boy told me to get Facebook, and I'm starting to see all of these things that people are talking about, things that are happening in our communities. So I was in Brampton when I started hearing about all of these guys, and it was dope because it showed me that there is a way. Like you can't look at it like I can't do this because people down the block are making things happen. Everybody's talking about something going on, so you just have to give them something, Just got to get off your ass, man.
Pretty much. And like, I mean, Brampton, like they even had like the house parties like back in the day too. Like a lot of like Brampton men, like even like Tory, friggin' Toby, like all those guys were going to Toronto, like selling like their mixtapes like in the city and all that too. And like, you know, they had it with the backpack and all that too.
Yep.
Like when you noticed them with the backpack, like taking out like the CDs and all that, like that's when you knew, like, you know, like that whole like marketing, like that was like up from there and all that too. So
Yeah, it was prominent.
Yeah.
I mean, Tory really put his foot down for Brampton, and you can't say that he wasn't going hard, you know? Because we really saw it. At that time, 14, 15 years old, I'm leaving high school, and who am I seeing outside at Shoppers World? Tory with a blunt in his ear, and he's ready to rap, and he's about to go to the studio, or he's selling CDs. It was many different things he was doing as an independent artist to make you get off your ass and go get it. So I'm saying Brampton as a whole is like that, because now you got so many different artists from there. And like I said, we seen the development of a lot of people came from different places. They came here and they didn't want to rep it at first, and it was hard, but people just stuck with it and said, this is going to be something. And now, lo and behold, you know, the bees, peel. Sure.
Like what inspired you to like even like do this? Like, you know, rapping, being an artist, you know, just being creative and like, you know, taking it like seriously. Like what was that moment where, you know, this is like, you know, I want to do this, to be honest?
DMX. 8 years old, and really understanding his lyrics now and feeling the pain in his rap, and like, understanding authenticity and how real it was to me. So I'm like, I want to do this and be me. So and all these other artists now, I'm like, okay, everybody is a character. So I want to be my own person. I don't want to be like nobody. I want people to say, oh, Meeno Giinchy was Meeno freaking Giinchy, dog. Like nobody else is like this guy. So DMX gave me that, wanted to be me, wanted to have something to say, wanted to be passionate, be a man of God and not be fearful to mess up, you know? Yeah.
Sure. Was he like the only artist that's like your only like influence, like when it comes to your sound too? Or were there like other artists or genres?
Oh, tons. Everybody. I listen to everything. But it's just when I need to get into that bag that I need to be in, I turn on some X. It could be any album. The most liked albums that I love, I guess, is It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and then there was X. Those three albums right there were the albums that my stepdad had that I started off listening to rap to. So it always brings me back to a certain place when I put them on. But I listen to everybody. Like I listen to Friyie. Friyie's my dog. Supreme Swiss. I listen to my boy Mini Son. He's hard. He has an album out. It's crazy. I listen to Low Key to God. He's a lyricist. Crazy. We got some work together. Fido. Crazy lyricist. Like these guys are witty, you know? Friyie's very witty. He's been like that since I met him. And I learned how to turn my hustle up a lot from Free, because he takes things very serious and he looks at things deeply. So it's like when I was around him, I'm trying to just going off the spur of the moment a lot, but he would calculate like how he's gonna attack the record, you know? And it'll be like, yeah, he might just be jumping on it. It might just look like a freestyle, but he's very, very, very calculated, and I rate that about him. So I try to take that. I try to take that too, you know? I let it rub off on me. I listen to Bushman. You know, if you're from Brampton, you have to listen to Bushman. I listen to, like I said, Jellystone. I've been dipping into the bag a little bit, listening to the older cats, Socrates and Cardinal Fisher. I've been loving the old Cardi. Shout outs to Cardi. And who else? I'm playing a lot of Connecticut stuff. Sholey, the Holy One. Lyricists, like these guys up my pen game type shit, you know?
All right.
Yeah, go check him out if you ain't hear him. He's from Bridgeport, Connecticut. And he's giving you a great rollout on what Bridgeport and Connecticut has to offer with this music stuff.
All right.
Ty Henny, he from New Haven. That's like that's like a stone throw away from where I was from. Like true. Hamden and New Haven are right beside each other. So true. Hearing these guys' lyrics and seeing how they're putting on for Connecticut, it hit home, you know? I love hearing it.
Have you heard of this artist named, I think, Class Murder by any chance too? I think he's from Connecticut.
Class Murder?
Yeah, Class Murder. I think from Connecticut. He's like signed to like Benny the Butcher. Like,
yeah.
And, like he did like a song with like him and Benny, and then he had like some songs with, like Pooh Shiesty.
Yeah.
And like some other people too and all that too. So yeah.
Hey, yo, I heard the name. I'm not gonna say I checked out his music yet, but I heard the name, you know? Yeah.
Sure. And like I know like you've worked with Friyie and Supreme Swiss and all that too, but were there like other artists that you want to work with from like the people that you've named too? Or
my boy Patron, he's in London. He's from Trinidad. But he's been out in London for a while, so that's his like place of where he reps. And when I went to London, bro, he put me on to a lot, man. He helped. I was trying to figure my life out. And this is 2022, you know? And I went into this barbershop. I used to go to this barbershop in London all the time. And London's a small little place, but it still has its commute. It still has its like different cliques, you know? You know how Toronto's cliquey? So London still has it kind of like a lot. So I got in through Patron putting me onto a job out there. working at a barbershop. So I was doing that for a little bit. And I noticed how it's like the resources are lacking out there, but there's so much dope artists. You know, they got stuff going on and people are trying to do their thing to contribute to the London music scene right now. And I just want you guys to go check it out because it's one of my favorite places in Canada, London, Ontario, bro. But they got some dope artists. You feel me?
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, you were here like since the 2010s and all that too. Like, I think like the 2010s in Toronto was a crazy time because you had Cool House, you had friggin' Government and all that too.
Yeah.
Sound Academy, now it's like Rebel and all that too. And like, you know, Bare people like performed and all that too. I mean, yeah, the J. Cole's, the Machine Gun Kellys.
Shouts to J. Cole.
There were like a lot of like promoters, like, you know, like more like club promoters, like that were like hosting like a lot of rap shows, like the MGK shows and the Tiger shows too. So how was it like, you know, even like releasing like music back then and, you know, being like involved like in that time period too, you know, because I think the 2010s were crazy. Like
it was crazy. And a lot of people are running with what they wanted to do was they wanted to attack World Star. So I noticed how World Star, it dictated what people did a lot, you know? It dictated the type of art people put out because they were trying to get that big box on World Star. So during that time, a lot of things we did, we were just trying to go above and beyond, bro. I won't lie. Those are some golden eras because you got the... I was listening to a lot of Currency, a lot of Wiz Khalifa. And if you know these guys, they take ownership and entrepreneurship very serious. And I find that was the time where it's like everybody was showing you what it took to do these day-to-day videos. And even here in Canada, it's like when people were doing tours, like for instance, Peter Jackson. There's a guy named Peter Jackson who he's like the godfather of Canadian tours, bro. So if you're going to do a tour, it's good to link up with Peter Jackson because he can give you the right resources. And at this time, we were plugged in with him. So 2010, 2011, 2012, we're doing these type of shows where it's like a circuit. And you hit Niagara, you know, they might have Jadakiss out there and you open for Jadakiss. Now you hit Montreal, you might be opening for Riff Raff. I don't know. You hit, you know, it was like so many different artists coming to Canada and you were always in that kind of light. So the 2010s, and it taught me how to hustle. It taught me how to just stay in those rooms, how to keep these relationships. And I think that's what's prospering even now. You know, the reason why I'm in 2026 still kind of rapping and still in these rooms, still meeting people is because of those things we learned in 2009, 2010, which were vital to just make sure that you connect, you know? Connection.
Yeah, true. Like I remember they had like some like crazy shows like back in the day too. I think
crazy
2014, like the Friyie situation, Oshawa, like there's some change.
You heard about that?
Yeah, the change.
Were you there?
Like I went to school like at that time too. Like I noticed they had like posters at the time too for Friyie.
We opened for him. We opened for him from that show.
Oh, okay.
And we heard about the situation, but we had already performed and it was like we were on our way to go because a lot of these shows were like, it wasn't the best security, bro. You know? And if you know about these Canadian venues, it's like I said, you have to be calculated. I learned that from Friyie. So you kind of have to do the extra thinking for people. And that's what I noticed at that time running around with guys. Because I had managers at that time, right? But they were always so adamant about getting in and getting out.
Yeah.
We didn't want to just be no place lagging for too long and just, you know, do what you got to do and go.
Yeah. I also heard that the like show, like I think French Montana and Cash Show back in like 2013 or 2012.
Yeah.
Like, I heard that was like pretty crazy too because they had like bare people like French Montana, King Los, Cash Show.
Yeah.
I think Blacka performed as well too. And it was like at this like...
Shouts to Blacka the Don.
Yeah. It was like at like this, for sure. It was like at this like hockey arena in Brampton and all that too. I think the CAA Center and all that too. But I heard it was like pretty like packed out and all that too. Like, I don't know if you like performed at that show at that time too.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but it was at Powerade. The one I did was at Powerade in Brampton and Powerade Sports Center off Kennedy there. And French Montana was there and Chinks was there, RIP Chinks. Chinks was there. And I think Cash Out was at that show too. So I'm thinking it was that one, brother. And Black of the Dawn performed and I performed. And it was one of those, like, we know the people behind scenes. And when you're connecting, when you have homies who know this person, that person, this person, so you're behind stage and you guys are chopping it up. It feels like family. Yeah. So even though we would make sure we're in and out, it was never like we were not connecting with people there.
Yeah.
It's like my guys knew everybody there. I kind of knew from running around, I knew a lot of people too. So people always gave us that respect. There was probably only one incident where things kind of went left. And it was because somebody was trying us. Like, and that was in Oshawa, I think, as well. But nonetheless, we kept it positive everywhere we went. And during that era, even though things were kind of crazy and saying it, it was people had respect for each other, and I'm noticing that now. Like you can still operate in Toronto off of that same kind of value, you know, as long as you have those kind of principles and morals.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think even Belly was with like French Montana like at those like times too, because like he was like still developing his sound for a bit too, and then like he became mainstream. Like I think
shout out to Belly. Where's he at? What, you got something new going? What's up?
I think he's like right now in like LA and all that right now. I think like he recently dropped some music too, but I think like he's kind of like laying low right now too. I think a lot of stuff going on too, but yeah, I mean,
I haven't heard anything on the radio or nothing from him in a while, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's one of those goats from Canada, for real.
100%, man. And then you know you transitioned from like Don Meeno to Meeno Giinchy and all that too. So like, what was that inspiration backstory behind those names and like the reason for that transition? You know?
Yeah. So I was with an independent label, and at the time when they found me, I was still trying to figure out a name. So I was struggling between Don Claude and Don Meeno. And if you know me, my real name's Claude. And that's on Google and everything. You know, can't hold that. So a lot of people who were meeting me were like, yo, what's your rap name going to be? What's your rap name going to be? Because I never solidified it. But I went with the Don Meeno off of the strength of, you know, I already had the Don and then the Meeno now. People were kind of like, yo, that's a sick name for you. That's fitting. And I kind of just told people, yo, start calling me Meeno, bro. Like, I just want to see if it will work. And it worked. So I ran with it. And I have a little nephew. His name is Camilo. So they used to call him Meeno. And I'm like, yo, that sounds so swaggy. And that kind of played into it too. So there was many different elements on how the Meeno came, but the Don was already there. I was going by Don Claude, and I thought, yo, because growing up, the way we grew up, bro, we loved mob stories. We loved the whole mafia, you know, type cinematics, right? And I said, that would be dope if I ever do like a cartoon, like a mafia cartoon for myself and make myself like a Don boss, you know? So it came off of that, like nothing crazy, nothing off of, you know, incriminating. It was just super like, I just want to be a boss. So that's where the Don came from. And then when I went through the whole independent label situation, I noticed that there was a lot of things I learned from them, and there was a lot of things I learned how to not do from them. So I said, when I rebrand, I want to start off fresh. I don't want to run with old weight, old baggage. That's why I feel like a name kind of carries sometimes. So I went with the Meeno Giinchy, and it gave me a whole refreshing way of looking at things, of approaching things. And it was like more me, you know? It felt like I was gaining ownership and sovereignty over myself again, you know? And not to say I was owned, but when you're working with people, a lot of things you have to be considerate that you're working with people. And a lot of people have sometimes your best interests and sometimes they don't. But the fact is you have to kind of come to terms and you have to come to meetings. So that's what Don Meeno was all about. Don Meeno was the person trying to figure out the music industry. And Meeno Giinchy is the guy who's figuring himself out. And I feel like I had to go through both phases. Every phase is necessary for this journey I'm on. So the Meeno Giinchy is, Meeno is me and Giinchy is true to yourself. Giinchy is my brand. We came up with it in 2012. Me and my boy Z, we wrote it on a cup in Atlanta. We said, this is what we're going to abide by. This is our moral compass right here, as you could say. And I said, I'm going to stay true to me. I will never get big-headed and act like I'm better than it. Because at this time, bro, you heard French Montana feature and, you know, DJ Holiday hosting the mixtape and Tory Lanez feature. And we're going to Atlanta every so often. And I'm performing in a strip club at 17 years old. And so a lot of things could have got me to be, I'm better than everybody. But I didn't want to take that route because I felt that is just a recipe for destruction. And if you stay grounded and you stay humble, you know, God blesses those who stay humble. So I said, you know what? Meeno Giinchy. Meeno is who I am, and I'm true to myself. That's what Giinchy's all about. And it's my favorite name. I don't think I'll change it.
Amazing name, by the way, too. Like, I think it has a like good flair to it. Like,
Appreciate
I think,
it.
you know, it's something that stands out too, to be honest, you know, because like you don't really get like a lot of like stage names that like definitely like stand out as much anymore. Like some people are like saying the names like SKBK, Voodoo Voodoo Woo, and like, you know, you're only going to hear them maybe like within like 15 minutes and all that too. But like for someone with a unique name or unique style, like it'll go on like forever too. And like I think with that name too, like it'll go on either way. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey man, you call me MG, you know. We can do that MG.
True.
Yeah.
Yo, so you got like fourth quarter and all that. So like that's been like out now, I think since last year and all that too. But it's like one of your more like recent stuff and all that too. So like what was like that whole like creative process, like that vibe and inspiration for that project, and even like having like TY.GOTEM like being like the executive producer and the main producer for that project?
I love the way you roll out the questions because it's literally like the name and then the fourth quarter, there's so much in between there. So 2018 is when I made the stamp on the Meeno Giinchy name. I made a stamp to myself saying, I'm going to figure out who I am. So I started asking my mom a whole lot of more deeper questions when I would go see her on Sundays. I'd be like, yo, mom, what was it like when I was a baby? Like, was I active? So she would give me the whole lowdown on what I was like. This started in 2018, 2019. Goes on until 2021 when I dropped Finding Meeno. And I put 10K into Finding Meeno. You know, my hard-earned money. I went to Vancouver. I worked. We did 24-hour junk. I worked with my boy Heatwave. And I learned a lot about entrepreneurship from him. And I met a lot of dope people. But I was still trying to figure myself out. And that's what the move was about. So I wanted to make sure that when I went to the West Coast, I had to check off my list. I had so I wanted to read more. I wanted to get more active. And I did all those things. I was working out every day. We were reading, we were working, and my life started to prosper. And I felt like this lift, you know, off of my shoulders. So long story short, I come back to Toronto. I get stuck because of COVID. They won't let me fly back to Vancouver, right? I said, this is a great time to drop Finding Meeno because I need to keep my foot on the gas. So with everything that I had, I put it all into Finding Meeno. We pumped, bro. We I did a little bit of everything I could for it. And I noticed how fulfilled it made me feel to just keep my foot on the gas, right? So next, I had so much songs that I didn't even put on Finding Meeno. Shout outs to Asher, who was he produced a lot of the songs on there. Roth, Van Plu, he produced my favorite song on there, Top of the Morning. That's my record. If you ask me what my favorite song is, it's that song because my attitude and where I was at, I didn't care about what was going on in the world. I just knew that I had to drop this album. You know? So top of the morning to all of my hustlers waking up early and hungry to get it. I roll me a joint, then I go do some push-ups. I'm thanking the Lord, I'm so blessed and so gifted. We made that at like 2 a.m. in Vancouver. So Roth was working a job at a dispensary and I'm working 24-hour junk. So our schedules were kind of off. But when we would link and record, we would link. Bro, we would record till 3 a.m. And that's a lot of Finding Meeno came together like that. So when I came to Toronto, I had all this music. I said, I can't just drop Finding Meeno. I got to give them a mixtape as well. Boom, 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 CTMS. And I was like, yeah, I'm finding myself, and that's the humble me, but there's also a side of me where, I worked with Tory Lanez. Yeah, I worked with this guy. So I'm like, you can't tell me shit. And then there's this person who put a battery in my back a long time ago. Shout outs to Ida's Life. She said, yo, you know what? You can't tell me no shit, man. And then that kind of stuck. That was like 2015 when she would say that. And it was like, I was like, it was always in the back of my head. So Finding Meeno is getting ready to drop. I'm like, CTMS should drop with it simultaneously. But I didn't do that. So once I dropped Finding Meeno, it was until the next year in 2022, February, where I go back to my list of songs in my laptop. And I swear to God, Josh, I just happened to just throw stuff randomly. That's how CTMS came together. I'm like, all of these songs that didn't go on Finding Meeno here. And then I played them back and I said, whoa, this right here is something though. Low key, I loved it a little bit more than Finding Meeno. But that's how it is. That's how it's supposed to be. For every next project, I think you're supposed to, gain some more love for your baby.
Sure, and then it led to like En Route and all that.
Yes. So now the En Route comes after CTMS, right? Every album is alley-ooping the next. So when I get to En Route, I'm looking at it like, bro, I'm always on road. At this time, I'm running around London, Ottawa, and I'm always seeing en routes. And I love the whole road aspect of music. Like I like to play albums in the car. So I have more songs and I'm playing the en route, and CTMS was so dope. And I kind of wanted to call en route CTMS too, but I didn't. I just gave it its own thing. So I'm giving everything, like you did subgenres, right? So I'm giving myself subgenres. So if I want to get into a certain bag, I'm going to go back to Finding Meeno, but I might give you a Finding Meeno too, because that's what that music is for. CTMS now, I have that you can't tell me shit, my not egotistical music, but that's my confident side. And that's the shit I can just put whatever on. And then the en route now is Life's a Journey. The music that sounds like journey music goes on there. So you got the self-searching, the road music, the journey music, which I said to myself, I need some in-game music, bro. Because this is a game, right, Josh? Yeah. I said, I need in-game music. And what's the most important, Chris, what's the most important quarter in a game? It's the fourth quarter. And I said, my whole life, I feel like I've been living fourth quarter, from Connecticut to Jamaica to Canada. I feel like I've always been back against the wall. What am I going to do now? And my parents, I got it from them, my mom, Never met my real dad, but my mom always showed me, like, you got to keep your head on your shoulders. Like, you can't let people throw you off, and you can't let you can't let your ego and your pride throw you off. So that's where the humble stuff comes from. So now I'm like, all right, fourth quarter, this is going to be the tape that helps people stay in the game. So you got a self-finding album. You got the album for the road. You got the album for, the ones who are doubting you. Yo, you can't tell me shit, CTMS. And now I got an album that's for the game. So I wanted to do initially, TY.GOTEM will tell you first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And I wanted to drop them throughout the year. Wasn't going to make any sense. Had too much going on. I'm working at a warehouse. I get fired. I'm trying to find a new job. Got a baby. I can't keep my foot on the gas. So sorry, TY.GOTEM. We ended up scratching it. And then later on in the year, I catch a grip. I catch a little win. I'm like, you know what? I got some time. This laptop's here. Let me just see what I can do. So I went to ChatGPT, said, make me a cover. Actually, my wife did. I told her to go ask Chat. I don't even have ChatGPT on my phone. She has. So I said, yo, can you ask ChatGPT to make me a cover for this fourth quarter album? And it was just so happened that TY.GOTEM has sent me a whole bunch of beats. He sent me like a file of like 10 beats. And throughout that year, while things are going crazy, when I would go to the studio, because I'm spending my last little, $100, $160 when I can to go to the studio after the bills are paid. I ain't the richest, but I'm making it work because at that point, it's like the music will save me and the music will keep me, as you can say, like, will keep me above water.
Yeah.
So I made sure. So that's that fourth quarter. And all of the songs on there, if you listen to it, is at the time of when I'm either transitioning into having my baby, because Jerry's house was right before I got the news. And then everything after that was like, all right, cool. This is what this one's going to mean. So I gave everybody kind of like the understanding of how to transition and adapt in that mid-game pressure, and that's what I felt like I was going through. I felt like Kobe and I was down 28 and the whole team's depending on me. And what I had to do, chuck up four threes straight. That's what a lot of those tracks was feeling like I was hitting threes, bro. I was splashing.
Yeah.
Those songs. Move Up, one of my favorite songs on there. But my favorite song on there is Don't Change. And that's why I put it at number 1. Because I want people to go into the album listening to it saying, yo, hold up. This is a grown man talking. I don't want you to think that I'm still on that Don Meeno little boy thinking he's some kind of boss when he ain't go through life. So now I went through life. And I feel like I could maybe circle back to that name, but I won't.
I think one of my favorite songs on there, I think it was like Daddy Duties and all that.
Daddy Dude, yo, touch me, fam. Are you crazy? Come on.
Like the reel was like pretty like interesting too. Like when you were like with your daughter and all that too, like the whip and all that too. So like that was like pretty sick. And then hearing it like in the actual track, like that's
so
like
emotion can't remember how to flirt
exactly too. Yeah. And like I'm gonna like probably like get into it for a bit too, but like even like being someone like in the music industry too, because I've talked with shorties and like other mandem that have like kids and all that, and like I usually ask this like too, like how's it like even being a father and like even like raising a child while being in the industry,
beautiful,
and like what can people from the outside like need to understand, like don't know like what it is about like artists like dealing with like parenthood and all that.
Excuse me, yo, it's amazing, and like I said, never grew up knowing my dad. So here at 32 years old, I'll be 32 May 16th. I'm always thinking, it's the back of my head, like, what is my dad like? And sometimes it gets me down, but, we're human. So I'm seeing that, God gave me this opportunity to be a father, and I'm not going to play with it. I find a lot of people kind of repeat the same cycle, of trauma. So I don't want to repeat it. And I always think about things in why is this happening to me the way it's happening? So like everything's for a reason. So I'm not saying God, why type. I'm just like, oh, this is happening. Yo, this is cool. So I'm supposed to go through this. Okay. What do I take from this? And so many positives having a baby, man. Like structuring my life a lot better. I was always waking up early, but putting one foot before the others is like more meaningful. When I leave out the house, I'm not playing around when I go where I have to go. I'm going to work and coming back home. And before it used to be, I'm on the road for weeks. Feel me? Sleeping at a gas station or damn near like, because when Rio, I watched the interview and Rio said, he used to sleep at gas. I said, damn, bro, I feel that. And if you know, you're on the road, bro. It's like wherever you can get a nap or wherever you can hit your. I'm sleeping on people's couches, and it wasn't the best thing at 28, 29 years old. So I was putting it all on the floor for the music. I didn't care where I was at mentally, but now I do. And I have to make sure I'm always keeping my mental in check. And that's what having a baby does. Because you're growing somebody, bro. You're raising somebody. She's taking after me. I can't be using the same language I was. Just, I can't just be sleeping at the homie's crib and then just going Niagara and then going Sudbury and going Thunder Bay and coming back. Nah, that's not gonna work. So I had to get a job and put my feet down and figured out how to make sure I can still make music, but still be a dad. And I know my daughter's gonna grow up to see that, yo, this is what you were doing when I was 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. When she hits 16, 17, you know, it's gonna put a battery in her back to go out and chase her dreams. So it gives me that sense of, yo, ownership, obviously, because it's my baby. I think every man wants to feel ownership. I think that's what a lot of us are out here struggling with, because we want to have dominion and domain over so many things, bro, but we really don't. And when you have a family, that's when you see that this is what you own. This is your family, bro.
Yeah.
You know, she has my last name, you know? So I take these things serious, and I'm not going to let anybody play with my time, you know? I think I did that a lot when I was 21, 22, 23. It's not going to happen anymore. I pull up and get the job done, and my daughter's gonna see that you don't play with your time, you don't play with people's time.
Yeah, that's facts, man. Because nowadays too, like from what I've noticed, the music industry too, like more so like in the mainstream, you don't see like a lot of artists like that care for their kids as much too.
Yeah.
Like you just see, like, you usually see them as like more of an entity or just like like more of a product rather than like an actual like being too. And sometimes it's like them like having like these like child support issues. Or just them being like deadbeat parents, like whether they're like actually with their children or not, and all that too, and like even like the ignorance of like having like too many children and all that too, because we've seen like rappers with like so many baby mamas and all that too, like they have like 12, 13 kids, and it's like you don't even have a relationship with at least like one of them, or like it's crazy, so.
My favorite rapper, he kind of went through it. I'm not one to talk on personal issues, but I take note of what's happening, and I'm like, yeah, if I can do things different, because a lot of our parents, a lot of our uncles, I don't know if you came from that. What's your background?
I'm Ethiopian.
Ethiopian. In Ethiopia, are families accustomed to having a lot of kids?
Like if you're with like like only like one husband, one wife, like it should be fine.
It should be fine.
Usually like parenthood in Ethiopia is like very like strict and all that too,
right,
and like
right.
Usually through marriage and all that. Like some have like in rural areas they'll probably have like a lot of kids, but like it all depends on because like you can't be poor and having like too many kids and all that too, because like that's just.
And it's like I think that's the same thing in Jamaica as well. You have families that they don't learn that. They poor and they have a lot of kids, thinking the kids are going to save them. Thinking, oh, you know what? This is what's going to help us. But you have places where people understand, you know what? This is what's going to work for me. So in Jamaica, like I've seen like my mom, she had bare siblings. My stepdad, he has bare siblings. So it's so much people to see when we go back there. And that's fun. And that's amazing. But you don't have to force it. I felt like a lot of the times back in the day, our parents were just living. That was the way they lived, They never forced it that way. A lot of us are trying so hard to have these big families, but Canada is not even the place where you can really be doing that. 11 kids is going to be crazy here.
Yeah, exactly. And, even with this like whole performance aspect too, because I mean, you've opened up for like Fab, Dej Loaf, for like Fresh Fest and all that too, but like also Preston, like Young Tory, like in London too. So how's London, like, like opening up for them and like traveling and performing like all over Canada, like in the US,
Amazing. And you learn a lot about other people when you perform. And I find like watching Fab perform at Cool House, because at the time it was called Cool House. Watching him perform, bro, yeah, I learned a lot. And like, this is kind of off topic. Watching Tory write in the studio, that taught me so much, because he ain't talked to nobody for an hour. He just got to it. He did what he had to do. And I took a lot of that. And ran with it. So when we performed in Atlanta for the first time, and shout out to Mama D. Waka and Gucci's Gucci's mom. She was putting us on to a lot of game out there in Atlanta. And one time we were recording, she's like, yo, I know you come from Canada, y'all cool and y'all polite, but this is Atlanta. You gotta talk loud. You gotta use your chest. So I was recording, in the middle of the recording, she stopped it and said that. I said, yo, thank you, Mama D, you right. I done forgot where I grew up. I forgot what I came up off of. Like, come on, bro. Not to say Canada, I'm not saying Canada's, I'm just saying you get kind of intimidated when you go to a different place, but you need that. So everybody needs to see how someone operates. And I feel like watching my big homie Z, because that's one of my favorite artists, he would go into the studio and bang out 10 songs, freestyle. And they're all hard. And we're listening back to it the next day. And I'm like, yo, bro, how the heck? He doesn't even write. So I would just let things just take me, and I'll just be a student of the game all the time. Just remain a student of the game. So young Tory, I took shit from him. He probably don't know. When he was on stage, there were certain things he would do to connect with the fans. I'm like, yo, that's dope. You know, Pressa would do certain things. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Nor Benji would do certain things. I'm like, oh, that, because I performed with Benji and Swagger Right too, you know, and Thoroughbred and a bunch of different artists, bro. And anytime I'm around people, I just take notes. I just take notes on what could work and what doesn't work. But I'm not on some, oh, I'm trying to jack your style. You know, I'm just seeing like, oh, shoot, like you're a great speaker. Vocab, okay. Yeah. So you don't have to be out here just like, yo, bro, I'm doing things my way, forget everybody, Yeah. Kind of end up on that Kanye train, you know? So I kind of just take notes of what's going on, and I love everybody's contribution to this music, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Even like with like Jimmy Prime too, like back when he was like Jimmy Johnson and all that too, like you guys had a track and all that.
Yeah, shouts to Jimmy.
I'm surprised that he even had like a song with like DJ Mustard and like Lola Monroe too. Yeah. So how is it like, you know, like even like working with those people as well, you know?
The homie Z is the one, I'm telling you, like Z was such a mastermind with finding the people that would fit on a certain beat. Like he has an air for this stuff. So Z was 3 years older than me, and when he would find certain beats, he'd be like, yo, this would be dope for you. And I would go on it, I would write to it. Wavy, our homie Wavy would be like, yo, bro, write 2-3 verses to that. He's like, that's what Tory would do. Tory would write 2-3 verses. Like I watched this process. So I'm like, damn, everybody's putting the bar on me all the time. And I needed that. So I sharpened. That's how I sharpened my pen. You know, people telling me, yo, bro, look what Jimmy's doing, bro. Listen to this song, yo. So you're not going to sharpen your pen unless you know somebody else is doing something and it's working. So a lot of times I'm hearing something from another artist and I'm like, yo, bro. And the homies is the one saying, yo, fam, like he's about to go, you know? So Jimmy was on that way, and we seen him transcend from just to that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was dope that he remained a humble person. He wanted to work, and our camps aligned. We made it happen. When we met up at the studio, we already had the beat, me and Fo. We had the beat from like 2-3 days before we were playing it. So I already kind of knew what I was going to say, but I hadn't written the verse fully until I met up with him that day. And then I was like, oh, this is what we're saying. So when he got on it, he got on the beat first and he slimed it. You know, he went crazy. So I said, oh, shoot, I'm ready. So I wrote my thing right there quick. And he's like, once I recorded, he's like, yo, bro, you're a good rapper, fam. Like, you really, and we connected. And after that, when we shot the video, it was a bunch of connections. And that's kind of how a lot of my relationships go with artists. It's like we help out each other in the studio. We go off to shoot the video, and that's kind of where you really connect now when you're shooting the video. You see what people are really like. In the studio, of course, but I find when people are pulling up on time to a video shoot and, you know, they're showing their true colors, because Tory was always on time. You know, we did like 2-3 video shoot with Tory. He was always on time. Jimmy was on time. Friyie is always on time. Supreme, on time. So I always like to align myself with those people who are serious about their craft. So I find throughout these years, I've always found those serious people. Minnie Son, you call him right now, he's going to be on time. Low key, on time, you know?
Yeah.
Bushman, he was at the studio on time when we recorded Skip the Dish. So I love working with people who take this serious, bro.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah.
How did you and like Supreme link and all that too? Because I know like with Supreme, like he's been doing it like for like a while too, with like the Ray J.
Supreme knows everybody. Supreme knows everybody. Yeah. And I find if you're someone who you stay working, you're going to always find somebody like that. So with Supreme in 2015, I'm kind of hearing his name. He's hearing my name. Simultaneously, we just came together to link at the studio. I think he had hit me saying, yo, meet him there. So we went there to record. And when I pulled up there, I'm like, oh, this is where you're always recording. He's like, yeah, this is Shiz. So he introduced me to Shiz. Shiz records like 80%, 70% of my music. Shouts to Shiz, the outlet. Y'all go book some time over there. He'll get you right.
All right.
So Supreme introduced me to Shiz. And we just connected, man. Our first song was
I think it might be on SoundCloud too. I'll probably check it out for a bit.
It was two songs we did. The first one was Acting Away, and then the second one was Hooked or something like that. So the Acting Away was what got me and him kind of like really, really, our bond started right there. Before that, prior to that, I never really kicked it with Swiss. But after Acting Away, we became homies.
Because you had Twin, and then you had Sarnia, and then Shoppers, and then...
All of that came after the Acting Away, yeah. So 2015, if he still has it on there, I don't know if he does. 2015, we dropped that, and then from there, I kind of connected with Shiz. And through Shiz, me and Swiss would always go over there to record, and our bond got stronger, and I met a whole bunch of other people through Swiss and Shiz, and I hope I introduced them to a lot of people as well.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have this like question that's actually like very interesting too because like from what you told me like you also work like a 9 to 5 as well too
Yeah.
to kind of like accommodate with the music career too. So do you ever feel like having like a 9 to 5 or attaining education through schooling is more of a better approach to attaining success? Or do you feel like it would be like the opposite nowadays too? Because you see like a lot of people that encourage kids to kind of go into like different routes to like entrepreneurship or streets, like that type of stuff too. So
The streets. Hey, look, do what is right for you, and that's what Ginchy's about. You know, do what's right for you. I'm not going to tell you to bump your head and go down the wrong path. I will never do that. I'm not going to tell you to go to school. I'm not going to tell you to go work a job. I'll ask you, what does it feel right? What feels right? And a lot of people kind of already know. Here's the thing, Josh. A lot of people already know what they're passionate about. They just haven't been asked that question that you just said. You know? Like, what route should I take? Should I do the school for this passion? Should I go to just work a job for this passion? Or should I,
yeah.
Now, a lot of times that last one is not even it. You shouldn't be jumping off the porch at 20-something years old anyways. For a lot of people, when they jump off the porch, it's because they had no guidance, right? So you're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and now that's what causes the street shit. But at 20-something years old, I don't see why you should be getting your head in that type of business. So for sure, it's school or freaking work at that point. Or you're going to create something. You dig? And I just really feel like when you make it more simple, then life becomes, I like simplicity. So for me, if I know I have to go to school to get credentials for something, I'm going to do it. If I want to go get a trade and I want to get my certificates, then I know I have to know something. I have to know, I have to study. And whether you want to be in the trades or you want to be in the 9 to 5, whatever it is you want to do, there's always going to be some kind of schooling. So whether you go to school or not, life is a school. So you have to study regardless. You have to read and apply and organize. And so all of these things that you learn in school, you're going to have to use in real life. So that's why I tell people, make sure that, you don't ever clock out of school.
Sure. Yeah, for sure, man. As far as being in Toronto for the most part too, how do you feel about the Toronto Canadian music scene right now? Do you ever feel like there should be some changes on the direction of where the scene should go to, or do you feel like it's like fine the way it is?
Like the stuff that I listen to, bro, it doesn't even matter. Like Toronto, to be honest with you, people are gonna make a change if they want to make a change. So when it comes to the whole, there's great music. Sincerely Toby is doing great things. Havaya Mighty is doing great things. There's dope artists on the radio all day, every day. I was just hearing The Market on the radio. Charles Casper and 100 bands. It's like we always have these great moments and then they kind of fade, right? I think when we work together and we collab, like you're seeing through the Casper and 100 band collaboration, and you see it all the time when artists collab, how far things go. Even me, I do things myself, but that's just because I'm keeping my foot on the gas, my momentum. The ultimate dream is to always have projects with people, I want a Friyie project. I want a Supreme Swiss project. I want to have people to listen to our music to say, yo, you guys are working together. So Toronto's rap scene, bro, I think it's coming together slowly. It's just about people understanding, what they have to do, their contribution, because I think we're all doing it little by little. And eventually we'll get there. We'll get to what we want to see us as. I always think about it like, yo, we should be on some Detroit money making. Everybody's just, we don't care about no bullshit. We're just making songs together, getting money together, making our city look good. And I feel like Detroit's one of the best representations of that right now. But, who am I? I'm just a guy.
True. I know, like people like in Toronto talk about like the whole like crab in the bucket mentality and all that too. Like
that's everywhere though. In Connecticut, it's the same shit. Because I'm telling you, when I was growing up, there was no rappers in Connecticut. I didn't know until I got on YouTube at 13, 14-year-olds, and I'm looking up rappers, and there's the old school cats doing their thing. They paved the way. Obviously, I can't even remember the freaking names, but eventually there's certain rappers that stuck, and I'm like, these are the ones I'm gonna look up. You just got to do your thing. People are gonna find your stuff. So now through these artists that I found in Connecticut, I'm finding other artists. So I know through people listen. You just said through you listening to Friyie, you listen to Meeno, right? That's what happens. Listen, bro, I would have never found Sholey if I never found Ty Henny. Ty Henny is what made me listen to Sholey, and then they started doing stuff together. And I'm like, yo, bro, these guys got the collaboration thing down packed. So that's what it is. Atlanta, listen, look at all these guys who work together in Atlanta. I don't even want to go down that road because there's so many artists. Lil Baby, 2 Chainz, the baby. It's too many artists. No, the baby's from Charlotte, but you know what I mean, So I feel like once the West Coast, they started working together, you see it. Death Row, Even though there was beef and all this bullshit, they still made music and gave you some of the greatest hits together. So once Toronto just keeps working, bro, and we keep producing these hits together, you're gonna see that the art hub is here, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Here
man.
in Canada.
Yeah. And you know, there's like people that might have not heard about like your sound or like your like music for the most part too. And like that could be a majority for like a lot of like the artists like in the industry too and all that too. And like usually like I do this like with this like playlist called like TLOY's like Rising Acts too.
Yeah.
So like someone would like stumble like upon that playlist, they want to like find like new music and all that too. And
Dope.
even in your opinion too, like if that person were to come up to you or like someone like they want to find out more about your music and all that too, like what like free songs would you give them for them to like check out that to listen that they might have not heard about you or they know you by face but they would like to know more about your music and all that?
Top of the Morning, Meeno's favorite song. I think it was just that song right there just gives you a clear picture of what kind of energy I have. And I'm an energy driven person. So if you have great energy, I can tell, I can sense. That song right there, Top of the Morning. I'm a morning person, so it's a deep song to me. Finding Meeno, yeah, favorite album. Second song that I would give someone, probably be something off of CTMS, Black Soap. I like Black Soap a lot. When I made Black Soap, I was thinking about a lot of different situations happening in America. And I was like, damn, you know, we just need to clean it. We just need to clean America. America needs a clean slate. I'm just giving you why I named it Black Soap. America needs a clean slate. And we gotta kind of go back to the roots of the way things should be. You know, it's like capitalism and corporatizations have kind of shifted the way people think, you know? Like everything is, how do I monetize this? How do I make money off this? Even relationships, people are trying to make money off each other before they just connect, you know? So Black Soap was one of those, I remember why I'm here, like my purpose of being here on this planet, to wake people up, you know, and clean and sanctify the playing field, you know? Because even though I'm out here for a purpose, I'm not putting it in front of your face. Like religion does that a lot. And that's kind of why I refrain from saying I'm religious and I say I'm spiritual, because I don't want people to think I'm here to divide and conquer. And kind of that's what we get from a lot of these things, you know? So Black Soap was one of those, I'm remembering my purpose. I'm cleaning house, you know? That's what, and it's like, I'm showing you what I'm all about. Like it's prolific. Y'all, you have to go listen to CTMS. It took me a long time to figure out what my favorite song was from CTMS because there's so much dope songs on there, like Minty, Conversation, deep songs. And I was at a place in my life where I felt like Fred Hampton, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it on like Spotify or Apple Music or?
Yeah, it's on SoundCloud. It's not even on Spotify. A lot of those beats, I didn't want to go through the troubles of trying to get producers to say, hey, let's mix it. That, like, Finding Meeno started off a whole wave of, I don't care to master my music. I don't care to sit down and have you guys tell me to raise this level. I just said, I want to put it out because that was what having somebody tell you, that's not ready yet, it kind of upsets you when you put so much work behind it. So people always, bro, that's not ready yet. You got to go back to that. Edit that. Do this. And I'm like, you know what, man? This is who I am. I don't care about the best radio sounding song. I just want my shit to get across to people. So at SoundCloud, I dominated that when I first came out here. Like I made sure I just attacked SoundCloud. And a lot of my numbers, like people say, you should have more numbers. I don't care about that stuff. I just wanted to put my music out, you know? So I don't care about what brings me more views or more attention. It's just about, that's where it is. You can go check it out there.
All right.
Yeah. So SoundCloud, that's one of my best friends, man.
True. Yeah. And the third song, so like I know.
Oh yeah, the third song. My fault, Josh. The third song would be. Oh man, the third song would be.
I would put like Daddy Duties or.
You like Daddy Duties, right?
Like that would have been like something to add to.
Yeah, I would say Salutations because of how long it took me to make it. Salutations took me 3 months to write, not because it was hard or anything, but you want to hear something? When I was in Vancouver, I would take the SkyTrain, and on the SkyTrain, I would write some of the best music because I'm looking at this landscape, Vancouver is so beautiful. So I'm looking and I'm on my way to like Coquitlam. Even though I lived mainland Vancouver, I would go some far places on the SkyTrain and I would write some of my best music. And I wouldn't want to record it until I finished the lines. A lot of times it's not like that. Like as soon as I start something, I want to go record because I'm like, all right, I got the pocket. But Salutations, something special was hitting me while I was out there. And once I finally finished that song, I remember the joy I had getting it done after the 3 months of writing it. I never felt like that before. I've never written anything for 3 months, you know? So I recorded that, and I was in Vancouver. It wasn't with the homies that I usually record with. And to see the way they grasped, to see the way they were drawn to it, it did something. I said, yo, I'm out here in Vancouver, and these guys are seeing me for a serious, like they see how serious I am about this music. I said, bro, I have to take this energy back to Toronto. And I shot that video. Shout outs to Devane, who shot the video. We worked out, negotiated a little thing where we, you know, it'll work for both of us. And I remember I got some Giinchy hoodies made, and I'm running around just wanting to be an entrepreneur. And that's what Salutations really opened my mind up on, understanding my capabilities and how dope resources are to have. Like, this guy Devane shot the coldest video for me in Vancouver, and it feels like that's something that a lot of artists spend the most money for. I just kept working, and that's my formula now. So as you keep working, you're going to find a guy who shoots videos, or maybe you already know one, but you're going to get to those terms where you guys can both work. Just give yourself some time, because it's not easy to cough up $2,000, $1,500, $1,200 for a video, you know, just on a random weekend. A lot of people got stuff to do, but for me, it's like once I can at least do it once every 2 months, once every 3 months, you know, and that's where I kind of learned my formula. So Salutations, greetings and salutations, is take a break from the music and figure out how to organize. I mean, take a break from the money and figure out how to organize the music. So Salutations was a wake up. That's why I called it Salutations. It was like a hello, hey, I'm here again, but goodbye. I have to go again.
Yeah.
That's what Greetings and Salutations was all about. So that line was like ringing in my head as I was writing Greetings and Salutations. Had to take a break from doing all these money calculations. Yeah, so if you know me, you know I'm a thinker. And that song right there is show you like top of the morning, Greetings and Salutations, Black Soap, those 3 songs right there, I think give you the 3 sides of who I am, you know?
All right, proper.
Yeah.
And as far as like what you have like going on next, like what like are your plans for this year in terms of like any new music, any creative projects and so forth? And do you have any like closing remarks you'd like to say before we head on to the freestyle and all that?
3 new albums. And I don't know how I'm going to drop them, but I got 3 new albums out the way, produced by Novelty. We're trying to finalize. I got an album with Flash the God. Don't know what I'm calling that one yet, but we're gonna finalize. And then I got another album with my boy Bliss, and that one's called Sign to Self, STS, Sign to Self. I think I'm gonna drop that this summer, but the first one is out the way. So I'm gonna give y'all this out the way album. I'm gonna give y'all some the website's being worked on. It's under construction. We getting that finalized too. I'm gonna give y'all some new merch. I'm trying to plan a show for the summer. I'm trying to plan a Toronto show, but I'm thinking about just making it a Toronto tour. Canada tour. You know, Toronto's big. You could do a tour in Toronto. You know, you can. It's possible. But I'm thinking about doing a Canada tour for next year and just getting out some more music and just attacking the algorithms and doing more stuff like this and connecting with people on a ground level, and just being around my baby and watching her grow up and be all blessed, be as blessed as she can be. I want to take up boxing. I want to take up boxing this summer. Because I find I have a lot of, not aggression, but
like animated rage, like
yeah.
so you feel like you want to like let so much like energy out and all that.
Yeah,
like, I definitely agree.
I haven't never hit nobody. I ain't out here tripping off on nobody. But you know, it's just dope to understand, even like self-protection and just protecting your people and your loved ones. Like, I always love boxing. You know, so I think I might get into that.
Yeah, there's like other good ones too, like Muay Thai, Krav Maga, BJJ and all that too. Like a lot of like the grades like use that
Brazilian
and like
jiu-jitsu.
You know, like they use it for like UFC and all that too. So definitely take those if you want to like expand more on like boxing and all that too. So,
will do. Good looking out, Josh. How about you? You ever wanted to take up anything like MMA or any martial arts?
I've done like a boxing course before and like as far as like other courses like here and there too, like I did a public speaking course.
Dope. Nice.
Kind of help with this like whole like podcasting thing. So that was like something like I did like last year too. It helped a lot.
Nice.
I do want to take some courses again too. Like it just like has to be like within like timing and all that. I do go to the gym here and there and whatever's good. Like it's good and all that. So like I might do like an improv class someday too, and like I might also take up on some like other sports, like find out like what's good and all that too, and see what works. You know,
healthy mind, right? Healthy mind, healthy life.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm a firm believer in just trying to keep the mind healthy and just make sure I do things that always keep me thinking right. Because it shows out in the music, you know?
Yeah, sure, man. So we're just gonna get this started right here too. So Meeno Giinchy is gonna spit an exclusive freestyle exclusively on the TY Talks podcast. So I'm gonna step out. He's gonna step in and body it. He's definitely gonna kill it too. We've had a crazy conversation, so the music's gonna speak for itself, So definitely tap in,
Let's go. Big G, double I. Brampton, what up? Connecticut, what up? Jamaica, what up? Look. I really love the man I am, this dude that I'm becoming. Learn how to love again and make time for my woman. For the first time I understand what I've been overlooking. It hurts not having a fam to help you cope with something. When the words get hot like frying pans, it's when you know you cooking. Bro ran up 200 bands for they threw him in bookings. From where them cats bite hands after they done shook him. If he stuck to his plan, I wonder where it would've took him. If he stuck to his plan, I wonder where it would've took him. Let that sink in. If he stuck to his plan, hey yo, look, and your consistency's your confirmation. I thought I told you only God could give me consultation. And I ain't running down no ops, I'm running an operation. Don't got no job, come work this line, I'll give you an occupation. 80 people in this town, let's serve the whole population. My ex still want me sit down and have a conversation. But I'm too busy punching codes, cracking combinations. In the studio, cooking flows for Grammy nominations. My favorite day of the year is the first of every month. All the challenges you fear, I take and make them very fun. Yo girl, gold digging, my chick try and bury some. On the west end of Toronto, it hit different where we from. They scary already, no need to carry a gun. That's little boy activities, this grown man business. We in 5-star facilities, get lost in this building. There's way too many amenities, hard chilling. Temperature done dropped, cause friends is enemies. Fought feelings, started dealing for that steady cheese. Lord willing, I'm foreign willing by the time you get to these songs healing. My dog's dealing with that pedigree. Young cats making a killing, stealing identities. We get active, I'm still tapped in with the tappers. Brand new lotto package, I just busted out the plastic. And I own my masters, I ain't kissing on no asses. Stand up on that gas until they free all the Black Panthers. We get up and we get active, I ain't no fantasizer. Trapping skills is neat, I'm the one these cats admire. Used to have the crib filled with skis and packs of fire. Now it's formula, baby bottles and pacifiers. My story true, can't feed my daughter with no rapper lies. Just brought some food to Waterloo, they got some appetites. If it's affordable, that Cardinal gon' backflip twice. It's called an audible, my young boy Adams catching nice. I'm thinking smarter for my crew, can't give no bad advice. Used to drive 4 hours north just on some random nights. At points when life was dark, the microphone was candlelight. Can't get caught with what I got, cause they gon' hand me life. Cops was only taught to read you your Miranda rights. Them cops was only taught to read you your Miranda rights. Brody found a way to get more when his hands are tied. We up 40 floors, but never was no fan of heights. When it's hammer time, they taint your name and vandalize it. When it's hammer time, they taint your name and vandalize it. Look, yo, hey yo. The industry is fake, careful how you play. We could get some cake, but they rather hate. I've been out the way, album on the way. I was copping weight, now I'm dropping tapes. Industry is fake, careful how you play. We could get some cake, but they rather hate. I've been out the way, album on the way. I was copping weight, now I'm dropping. I ain't looking for no love from no grown man. I got up and got some funds with my own hands. I ain't looking with you dubs, y'all some hoes, man. All I needed was some and a phone plan. In the club with some thugs, but who don't dance. Popping guns, but I'd rather pop some more bands. Trying to run me up 100 off these programs. Not for fun, cause I got homies who got toe jam. Cutting up some onions, I'ma go ham. Love macking honeys to my slow jams. Young and acting funny, he want romance. I told him stack his money or it's no chance to really play this game on a high stake. How can I complain? I am not yeah. I am not your hero. I don't got a cape. Yeah.
Sick when, like, I'm not gonna even front. Like, that's like fire. Like, off the dome, like, no one can really do that, but like, you kept going and it's been going hard from here. And, like, Meeno, like, truly like a legend throughout the way too. Real Toronto OG and all that, like, putting in the game for like a lot of the people. Like, not a lot of people can say that they've done stuff that you've done and all that. And it's only up from there, So.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me. I hope hopefully from here on out I can practice this a little bit more and get more in tune with my lyrics,
Yep. But it was like fire either way too with the freestyle and all that too. So I can't like really like complain too. Like we'll have like hiccups like throughout the way here and there too. But like, it's like the process like when you're doing it for real versus like, when someone's like doing it from a phone and all that. So
yeah.
Either way, but like nothing but the best, for you, your career, everything else too. Only up from there, So
appreciate you, man. This was fun as hell. Hope to see you again soon. Y'all have a great weekend, Enjoy that food. Enjoy that mac and cheese, Chris.
Yeah. Josh, also known as Yashu, another episode of TY Talks podcast. You can get this on all platforms. But yo, this is Josh, also known as Yashu of the TY Talks podcast with Meeno Giinchy signing off.